It was always stated that the route to power in the national capital passes through Lucknow, but not too far off from Lucknow, not too far off from Uttar Pradesh, is the state of Bihar. And between UP and Bihar, these are two states which always determine which direction is country's politics really headed. With me, one of the foremost citizens of Bihar, I should say, one of the foremost civil servants, Yashovardhan Azad, joining us live. Great pleasure to have you today with us, Yashobhai.
Thank you, Upen.
Let me begin first by asking you, sir, that what do you make out of this entire exercise which has been unleashed by psephologist, analyst, turned politician, full-time politician, Prashant Kishor, alias PK? Is he really a politician for you?
Well, PK is a half politician, half psephologist, and half Bihari, a proud Bihari, I would say. Let me say at the very outset that his initiative is good. He's touring Bihar. He's drawing the right people. He's talking, resting in various villages and talking to the various people. He's talking about the problems of Bihar, and he's eliciting a kind of response because people angst are being expressed. People are talking about the troubles Bihar is facing. In that respect, I would say he's doing a good job. He's already said that he's left the job of psephologist. He's not going to do it anymore. And his entire concentration is going to be in Bihar. Now, these various meetings have not really transformed into one state meeting where he'll now articulate what exactly his plans are, though it does appear that he's planning for the next elections in Bihar.
But that's my point. Yashobhai, but that's my point. Look at the big politicians who have come from Bihar. Let's say over the last 2 to 3 decades. There's Nitish Kumar, there's Lalu Yadav. I'm not going before them. Ramvilas Paswan, Sushil Modi. Now there is Chirag Paswan. In this kind of a political environment where caste remains social identity, social assertion, caste identity, caste assertion remains a big focal point in a state like Bihar, where the last person who went out of an established mainstream and created his own mark was Ramvilas Paswan, which was way back in 2005, when he created a Muslim Dalit axis. And look at where his son is. He's nowhere if he doesn't have the support of the NDA, if he doesn't have the support of the BJP. Do you think in this kind of an environment, Prashant Kishor can really be some new X factor, or is the game somewhere else with Prashant Kishor?
Well, let me say that I would definitely agree with you that given the caste politics, which has taken a new turn, it was there all the time in a sort of milder form. But since the time Lalu Yadav took over, it has come out in right in front, very, very visible. And since then, it has continued, unfortunately, without any changes. And therefore, the caste alliances have been such and so strongly held that it looks very, very difficult for anybody to break through. Now, in the case of PK, he has announced something new, something more palatable.
What is new? But what is new? What is the difference in what PK is promising today than what may not have been promised, let's say, by Tejasvi Yadav, or a Chirag Paswan? They also say that they are beacons of hope for the youth, and Prashant Kishor says that I will give maximum representation to the youth. What's the difference, sir?
First, Prashant does not have the baggage of this caste coming behind him. That's a very important part. So he comes as a fresh face to the Biharis. To the Biharis, he does not represent, in fact, many people wouldn't know his caste. They would have found out, but it's not so visible staring on your face like Tejasvi Yadav or Lalu Yadav or Nitish, for example. That's one. Number two is the very fact that he's sort of focusing on the youth. There is a kind of an aura or an appeal. A youth definitely has a better chance than compared to other people sans caste. Number three is that if you are coming from an angle where you say that Bihar's development, etc., will be the main focus, people are curious. People are curious. What kind of employment schemes? What kind of land, reallocation or development? What kind of infrastructure? Is there anything new he's getting from abroad? Is there any kind of new investment or money coming into Bihar? So that is the new thing attached to his mission, I would say, which is drawing curiosity and a little bit of crowd.
Well, certainly he doesn't have, I mean, in comparison to the other leaders that you've spoken about, he doesn't have a family name. He's not the custodian of a family based political ecosystem. I concede that point. But I'm trying to understand, Yashoji, that in a state like Bihar, where the economic parameters are what they are, home to 10% of the country's population, it has had the fastest growing economic situation as far as numbers are concerned, but it remains one of the poorest states in the country. In this kind of a political environment, for Prashant Kishor to bring in this US style energy in a campaign, can it not lead to a sense of complete disconnect between what that ordinary person who's living in Jehanabad or the back and beyond of Gaya or somewhere, what is that person really looking for, and what is the language, what is the new political idiom which Prashant Kishor is speaking about?
See, the only thing PK is bringing to Biharis, if at all he's able to campaign it, project it in the right manner, is hope. For people in Jahanabad, for people in other places like Bhagalpur, whether it's north of Ganga or south of Ganga, it's hope which is filling them with any kind of sustenance, because there's nothing else which is happening in Bihar. So anybody new trying to offer anything, they're a little curious. Now, you're absolutely right. He does not carry the baggage. So in one respect, it is an advantage.
But does he carry the weight? No, he may not carry the baggage, but does he carry the weight, sir? Does he have, as a politician, does he carry that political weight which people want to see behind a serious politician like a Jayaprakash Narayan?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was coming to. So on one hand, where he has the advantage, the disadvantage is for such a movement to carry, you need a kind of a charismatic individual to sort of take it forward. And as you rightly said, in 73, you had Jayaprakash Narayan. Jayaprakash Narayan had galvanized everyone across the caste and community. And that's exactly what Bihar needs. So therefore, to get over this caste barrier, to climb over it and sort of transcend this, you need a personality which will carry this campaign forward. In that respect, I see the real difficulty of PK, how he will be able to carry the momentum, project it further, and pitchfork it across Bihar, both sides of Ganga.
But tell me, you spend so much of your time speaking to people of all hues across the country, and certainly from the state of Bihar. When you hear the name of Prashant Kishor in Jan Suraj, the munch that he's created, is there a fear that at the end of the day, is he like an Arvind Kejriwal who's really trying to disrupt the system, or is he the front face of one of maybe the existing players in the state of Bihar?
Well, it's very difficult. I mean, on that particular point, Bihari is very keen to know about anyone's background. In that respect, PK is not very, very well known about his roots, about what he has got in Bihar in terms of asset. What is his basic asset? If it's not caste, what is it? Is it, as I earlier said, is it that he's a man for development? Is it that he's capable of getting or uniting the youth in such a manner that people, from all walks of life will sort of gravitate towards him? Youth, yes, below 30, we have 65% of the people in India. But that youth, without a particular target, without a particular mission, may actually go awry. So in that respect, I do appreciate that there are a lot of hurdles for him to get over before he can actually establish himself as a party and a kind of a potential bidder or a winner.
But if I was to ask you, Yashoji, in conclusion, that all that Prashant Kishor is really doing is that he's bidding for the BJP, that he's effectively a front face for the BJP, where a Nitish Kumar, who's now aging, clearly in the twilight of his political career, BJP wanting to, raise the games, BJP wanting to use Prashant Kishor to eat into the caste-based vote base which has been created, whether it's by Chirag Paswan or by RJD. Would that be a correct assertion, sir?
Well, during the last elections, it's true that there was a word around that he had some of his supporters had campaigned for joining the BJP. In fact, making a kind of an alliance. And that is what he had suggested to various parties, which the parties didn't agree with. Now, in this particular case, Remember one thing, Bhupen, after all, when you are getting into politics, then you are looking into all possibilities. So if you're not able to go alone, if you test your strength and then you realize that you have to survive and then fight another day, then it's quite possible that you may align with one of the parties. That could very well be in the case of PK.
Arvind Kejriwal in 2012 came from Ramlila Maidan, started off his party, and the first thing he did was to tie up with the very party that he was challenging, which was a Congress party, right? And look at where Arvind Kejriwal is today. But reality is that he's also in power in the state of Punjab. He's in power in Delhi. He's got a 12% vote share in Gujarat. Is this comparison between Arvind Kejriwal and Prashant Kishor, is that a fair comparison, Yashoji?
Well, no, not really, because Kejriwal's background, Kejriwal started on a India platform. PK is not standing on a India platform. Mind you, on this India platform, when Kejriwal started, though of course most of the major players deserted him, PK is standing absolutely alone. PK does not have an all India standing. PK is only talking about Bihar and is touring Bihar. He has yet to establish himself as an all India name or as a tall personality in Bihar. It has just begun. So when he starts his first state convention after his tours and announces something, then only people will get to know what PK is talking about. And from then, his strength will be tested.
All right, Yashoji, great pleasure to have had you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us.